talk about something that's absolutely critical inside SAP, user access management. You can think of it as who gets the keys to the kingdom, and more importantly, how you make sure those keys only open the right doors. So, let's start with the big picture problem. Imagine you're running a huge global company. You've got tens of thousands of employees, right? All doing different jobs. How on earth do you make sure the accountant in Germany gets the finance tools they need but can't, peek at the HR records in Brazil? How do you manage all that securely and without slowing everyone down?
You see, this isn't just some techie puzzle. It's a massive business challenge. You're constantly balancing tight security with making sure people can actually do their jobs. If you get it wrong, well, the consequences can be huge. But if you get it right, it means you have a precise, layered solution, which is exactly what SAP has built.
So how does this whole structure actually work? Well, it all starts with two really fundamental ideas: the person who needs access and the job that person does. This is the foundation of everything. First up, you've got the business user. This is pretty simple. It's the person. It's Sarah from accounting or David from sales logging in to do their work. To make this super clear, let's use an analogy. The business user is the employee who needs to get into the main office building.
And then we have the business role. Now this is key. This isn't the person anymore, it's the job they do. Think accountant or project manager. So if the user is the employee, the business role is their official company ID card. It's the access pass that says exactly what they are and are not allowed to do inside that building.
Now, the cool thing is, you don't have to start from zero. SAP gives you hundreds of pre-built template roles to get you started, but the real power, honestly, comes from creating custom roles, either by tweaking a template or just building one from scratch to perfectly match how your company actually works.
Okay, so a business role is like an access pass. We got that. But what does that pass actually unlock? What's going on inside of it? Let's peel back that next layer and take a look. It all follows this really clear chain of command, you could say. You start with the business user. That user gets assigned a business role. That role contains one or more business catalogs, and inside those catalogs, that's where you find the actual apps, the tools you need to get the job done.
Let's zoom in on that middle piece for a second, the business catalog. Just think of it as a bundle of related apps for a specific type of work. So going back to our office building, if your role is the access pass, the catalog is the specific floor or department that pass gets you into. Like the finance floor or the HR department. And here is where it all comes together. A single business role, like senior accountant, might give you access to a bunch of different business catalogs, like accounts payable, general ledger, and financial reporting. This setup gives the user access to all the different departments and all the rooms or apps they need, all neatly organized by their job.
Okay, so that's all the complicated stuff happening in the background. But what does the employee, the actual business user, see on their screen every morning? How does this all look to them?
Well, all that back-end logic translates into a really simple interface. The Fiori Launchpad, that's the lobby of our building. Each tile or link you see on the screen, that's a door to a specific room. The app itself is the actual office where the work gets done. And the target mapping? Well, that's the invisible key that makes sure when you click on a door, it opens the correct room.
And this interface has evolved. The old way of organizing these tiles was called groups, and it had this one big flaw. If a user moved things around, they could accidentally break or even hide important updates from the admins. So the new system, Spaces and Pages, gives administrators way more control to organize everything logically for everyone.
So this whole system gives people a ton of power and access, which naturally leads to a really important question. Who should be in charge of building and managing all of this? Who holds the keys?
No, really, think about it for a second. Who in a company should have the final say on what an accountant or a project manager is allowed to see and do in the system? It's a big decision.
And the answer is, probably not who you think it is. It shouldn't be the security admin. They're focused on locking things down, not the user experience. It shouldn't be the functional consultant. They care about the process, not the person. See, each of these roles has its own very specific and kind of narrow focus. The real answer is that the business itself owns these roles. Completely. The role administrator's job is to work super closely with the people who actually do the work, the business experts, to make sure these roles give them exactly what they need. It's a total team effort.
And through this whole entire process, from creating the roles to assigning the apps, there's one golden rule that trumps everything else. It's the security rule of least privilege.
To put it another way, it's a simple but incredibly powerful idea.
The goal is to give every single user access to only the tools they need to do their job and absolutely nothing more. This isn't about restricting people, it's about getting rid of risk and unnecessary complexity. It is the perfect sweet spot between efficiency and security. So there you have it. That's the framework. It's logical, it's layered, and it's really powerful when it's done right. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. Now that you understand the pieces, the user, the role, the catalogs, the apps, how would you design an access role for your own job? What do you really need, and what could you probably do without?
You ever stop and think about how a